Hello, my name is Julia. I want to tell you about my first night with Ollie. I was 19 years old. I was young. I was quiet. I lived in a small town near the sea. I worked in a small cafe. Every morning I woke up at 6. I washed my face. I tied my hair. I walked to work. My life was simple. I did not travel. I did not meet many new people. I stayed in my town. I stayed close to my family. I liked calm days. I liked soft music. I liked warm tea at night. One day everything changed. It was summer. The air was warm. The sky was blue. Many tourists came to my town. That day a new man came into the cafe. He was tall. He had dark hair. He had kind eyes. His name was Ali. He spoke English with a soft accent. He smiled when he talked. He looked at me when I gave him coffee. "Thank you," he said. His voice was calm. I felt shy. I said, "You're welcome." He came back the next day, and the next day, and the next day again. Each time, he smiled at me. Each time he asked small questions. "Do you live here?" "Yes," I said. "Do you like this town?" "Yes, it is quiet." He said he was from another country. He said he was here for work. He said he felt lonely. I listened to him. I felt sorry for him. After 1 week, he asked Julia, "Do you want to walk by the sea with me?" My heart beat fast. No one asked me that before. I said yes. That night we walked near the water. The wind was soft. The sky was pink and orange. Ollie talked about his life. He talked about his family. He talked about his dreams. He said he wanted a serious relationship. He said he wanted something real. I believed him. I never had a boyfriend before. I never had a serious relationship. I felt special when he looked at me. I felt important when he listened to me. He said, "You are different." He said, "You are kind." He said, "You are beautiful." No one said that to me before. Days passed. We met after my work. We drank tea. We sat near the sea. We talked for hours. He held my hand one evening. My hands were cold. His hands were warm. I did not pull away. I felt safe. I felt happy. One night he looked at me and said, "Julia, I care about you." I looked at him. I smiled. I felt my heart open. That night was the night everything changed. I did not know it then. I did not see the future. I only saw him, and I trusted him. That evening, I could not sleep. I stayed in my bed. I looked at the ceiling. I thought about Ollie. I remembered his smile. I remembered his voice. I remembered his warm hands. The next day, I felt different. I felt light. I felt nervous. I felt excited. At work, I waited for him. Every time the door opened, I looked up. When he finally came in, he smiled. "Good morning, Julia," he said. My heart moved fast again. "Good morning," I answered. He sat at the same table. I brought him coffee. He looked at me longer than before. That evening he asked me to have dinner with him. "I know a small place," he said. "It is quiet. You will like it." I said yes. I went home after work. I stood in front of my mirror. I looked at my face. I looked at my hair. I wanted to look nice. I wanted him to think I was beautiful. I chose a simple blue dress. It was soft and light. I brushed my hair slowly. When I arrived at the restaurant, he was already there. He stood up when he saw me. "You look amazing," he said. I felt shy. I looked down. I smiled. We ate slowly. We talked about small things. He told stories about his country. He told stories about his travels. He spoke about love. He said love is about trust. He said love is about honesty. I listened carefully. I believed every word. After dinner, we walked again near the sea. The night was warm, the moon was bright, the town was quiet. He stopped walking. He looked at me. "Julia," he said softly, "I feel close to you." My heart was beating very fast. "I feel close to you too," I said. He touched my face gently. He kissed me for the first time. It was soft. It was slow. I felt nervous, but I also felt happy. He told me he loved me. It was fast. It was sudden. But I wanted to believe him. A few days later, he invited me to his apartment. "We can watch a movie," he said. "We can talk." I hesitated for a moment, but I trusted him. I went. His apartment was small but clean. There was soft light in the room. There was quiet music. We sat close on the sofa. He held my hand. He looked into my eyes. "You trust me, right?" he asked. "Yes," I said. That night was my first night with him. I felt nervous. I felt scared. But I also felt in love. I believed he would stay. I believed he was serious. I believed we had a future. I gave him my heart completely. After that night, I felt different. I felt connected to him. I felt even closer. But something small changed. The next morning, he was quiet. He did not look at me the same way. I did not understand. I told myself I was imagining things. I smiled. I kissed him goodbye. I walked home slowly. Inside my heart, I felt a small fear, but I pushed it away. I told myself, he loves me. He will stay. I did not know what was coming next. The next days felt strange. Ollie still sent messages, but the messages were short. They were not like before. Before, he wrote long texts. He said sweet things. He said he missed me. Now he wrote, "I am busy. Talk later. Good night." I told myself it was normal. Maybe he had work. Maybe he was tired. I waited for him at the cafe. He did not come that day. The next day he came, but he stayed only 10 minutes. He drank coffee fast. He looked at his phone. He did not look at me much. "Are you okay?" I asked. "Yes, of course," he said. "I just have many things to do." He smiled, but the smile was different. It was quick. It was cold. That night I cried a little. I did not understand my feelings. I asked myself, did I do something wrong? Did I say something bad? I felt confused. I felt small. 2 days later, he did not answer my messages. I sent, "Are you okay?" No answer. I sent, "Can we talk?" No answer. I waited the whole day. I looked at my phone many times. At night, he finally called. His voice was calm. Too calm. "Julia," he said, "I need to tell you something." My hand started to shake. "I am going back to my country soon," he said. I was silent when I asked, "Next week?" "Next week." My heart dropped. "Why didn't you tell me before?" I asked softly. "I did not want to hurt you," he said. His words hurt me more. "What about us?" I asked. He stayed silent for a moment. "It was beautiful," he said. "But it was just for now. Just for now." I felt cold inside. "You said you loved me." I said. "I care about you," he answered. "But my life is not here." I could not speak. I remembered his words, his promises, his plans. Now they felt empty. "I thought you wanted something serious," I said. He sighed. "I did. But sometimes things change. Things change." For him, it was simple. For me, it was not. After the call, I sat on my bed. The room felt very quiet. I touched my face. It was wet from tears. I felt shame. I felt sadness. I felt angry. But most of all, I felt broken. I gave him my trust. I gave him my first night. I gave him my heart. And now he was leaving. The next day, I did not go to the sea. I did not want to see our place. I went to work. I smiled at customers. I made coffee, but inside I felt heavy. Ollie came to the cafe 2 days later. He stood near the door. He looked unsure. "Can we talk?" he asked. I nodded. We went outside. The sun was bright, but I felt cold. "I am sorry," he said. "I did not want to hurt you." "But you did," I said quietly. He looked down. "I thought you understood," he said. "I believed you," I answered. He looked at me, but his eyes did not look the same anymore. In that moment, I understood something. He did not see our night like I did. For him, it was a moment. For me, it was everything. And that hurt the most. I looked at him. I wanted to ask many questions, but I felt tired, very tired. "Why did you say you loved me?" I asked. He looked away. "I felt something," he said. It was real in that moment. In that moment, his words were simple, but they cut deep. For me, it was more than a moment, I said. He stayed quiet. Cars passed behind us. People walked near the cafe. Life continued. But inside me, everything felt slow. "I trusted you," I said. "I know," he answered. "I was honest with you." "I know." He said the same words again and again. "I know. I'm sorry." But sorry did not change anything. "When are you leaving?" I asked. "On Friday," he said. Friday was close, very close. "Will you come back?" I asked softly. He did not answer right away. That silence was my answer. "I don't know," he said. I nodded. I understood. In that moment, I saw him clearly. Not the man I imagined. Not the man of my dreams. Just a man who was passing through my town. And I was part of his trip. Nothing more. We stood in silence. "I hope you will be happy," he said. I felt a small anger rise in my chest. "I hope you will be honest next time," I said. He looked surprised, but he did not argue. "I am sorry, Julia," he said again. Then he left. He walked down the street. He did not look back. I stayed there alone. The sun was still bright, but I felt like the day was gray. That evening, I went to the sea. I sat on the sand. I looked at the water. The waves moved slowly. The sky was soft pink. I remembered our first walk. I remembered his words. I remembered how safe I felt. I closed my eyes. I felt pain. But I also felt something new. I felt stronger, not because I was happy, but because I understood. I understood that love needs time. I understood that words are not always truth. I understood that I deserve respect. That night, I did not cry. I looked at the moon. I took a deep breath. My first night, I whispered to myself. It was not the night I imagined. It was not the story I wanted. But it was part of my life, and I learned from it. Ollie left on Friday. I did not go to see him. I stayed at work. I made coffee. I smiled at customers. My heart still hurt, but it did not feel broken anymore. Days passed, then weeks. I slowly felt like myself again. I met new people. I spent more time with my friends. I talked to my sister about everything. She listened. She hugged me. "You are brave," she said. At first, I did not believe her. But one day I looked in the mirror. I saw a different Julia. A Julia who trusted. A Julia who loved. A Julia who learned. And that made me proud. Time moved slowly after Ollie left. But time also helped me. Every morning I woke up at 6. I washed my face. I tied my hair. I walked to the cafe. The town looked the same. The sea looked the same. The sky was still blue. But inside I felt different. At first I felt empty. When I saw couples near the sea, my chest felt tight. When I heard someone say the word love, I felt a small pain. But I did not run from that feeling. I let it stay. I let it pass. One afternoon, a tourist asked me, "Do you like working here?" I smiled. "Yes," I said. "I meet many new people," and it was true. Not all people stay. Some people come and go. That was normal. One evening I went for a walk alone. The air was cool. The sky was gray. I stood in the place where Allie first held my hand. I remembered that night. I remembered my fear. I remembered my hope. I did not feel angry anymore. I felt calm. I was young, I said softly. I trusted. Trust is not a mistake. Trust is a good thing. The mistake was not mine. That thought made me breathe easier. A few weeks later, I received a message from Allie. "Hi, I hope you are okay." I looked at the message for a long time. My heart did not jump. My hands did not shake. I felt calm. I wrote back, "I am okay. I hope you are well." He answered, "I miss our time." I read the words slowly. Before, those words would make me cry. Now, they made me think. I understood something important. Missing a moment is not the same as loving a person. I did not want to go back. I did not want to feel confused again, so I wrote, "I wish you a good life." He did not answer after that, and that was okay. That night, I slept well. For the first time in many days, my heart felt light. The next morning, I smiled at myself in the mirror. I was still Julia. I was still kind. I was still strong. My first night was part of my story, but it was not my whole story. I learned that love needs time. I learned that words must match actions. I learned that I deserve someone who stays. Life did not end, it continued. One day I met a new customer at the cafe. He ordered tea. He smiled politely. I felt calm, not nervous, not afraid. I was not in a hurry. I understood now. Real love is slow. Real love is honest. Real love feels safe. And I was ready to wait for that. The days became easier. I did not check my phone all the time. I did not wait for a message. I focused on my life. In the morning, I made coffee. In the afternoon, I cleaned tables. At night, I walked near the sea. Sometimes I felt a small sadness, but it did not stay long. One evening, my friend Emma visited me. We sat in my room. We drank tea. She looked at me and asked, "Do you still think about him?" I was honest. "Yes, sometimes." She nodded. "That is normal," she said. I looked at her. "I feel silly," I said. "Why?" she asked. "Because I believed everything." Emma shook her head. "You believed because you have a good heart," she said. Her words stayed with me. That night, I thought about my first night again. I remembered how nervous I felt. I remembered how I trusted him. I remembered how I thought it was love. But now I saw it in a different way. It was not a bad night. It was not something to hide. It was a moment when I gave my heart. That is not shame. That is courage. The problem was not my heart. The problem was his honesty. That thought made me feel strong. 1 month later, I heard from a friend that Ali was in another city. He was with another woman. When I heard this, I felt quiet. No tears, no anger, just quiet. I understood him now. He liked attention. He liked new feelings. He liked short stories. But I wanted a long story, and that is okay. One evening, I stood by the sea again. The sky was orange. The water moved slowly. I smiled. My first night, I whispered. It was not perfect. It was not forever. But it helped me grow. It helped me see my value. It helped me understand love. I was no longer the girl who waited. I was a woman who chose. And I chose peace. I chose respect. I chose myself. Autumn came to my town. The air became cool. The days became shorter. I liked this season. It felt calm. I continued my routine. Wake up, work, walk, sleep. But inside, I felt more stable. One afternoon, a new girl started working at the cafe. Her name was Sophia. She was 18. She was shy and quiet. I saw myself in her one day. She told me I met someone. Her eyes were bright. Her smile was wide. I smiled back. That is nice, I said. She talked about him. She said he was charming. She said he said beautiful things. I listened carefully. I did not want to scare her. I did not want to sound negative. But I said something simple. Take your time, I told her. Let actions show the truth. She looked at me and nodded. In that moment, I understood something. My story was not only about pain, it was also about learning. And now I could help someone else. That made me feel proud. One evening, after work, I sat alone at a small table in the cafe. The lights were soft. The room was quiet. I thought about Ali again. But now, when I thought about him, I did not feel hurt. I felt distance. He was a chapter, not the whole book. I smiled at that thought. Weeks passed, then months. One day I received a long message from Ali. I made a mistake, he wrote. I did not understand what I had. I miss you. I read it slowly. Before these words would shake me. Now, they did not. I felt calm. I asked myself one question. Do I trust him? The answer was clear. No. And without trust, there is no love. So I wrote a simple message. I wish you well, but I am moving forward. He did not answer, and that was the end. That night, I walked home slowly. The sky was dark. Stars were small and bright. I felt strong not because I forgot, but because I forgave. Forgiving did not mean going back. It meant letting go, and I was ready. Winter arrived quietly. The wind felt cold on my face. The sea looked darker, but I did not feel sad. I felt peaceful. Every morning I still woke up at 6. I made my bed. I looked at myself in the mirror. I saw a calm woman, not a broken girl. One afternoon I found my old blue dress. The one I wore that night. I held it in my hands. I remembered the restaurant. I remembered the walk by the sea. I remembered my fast heartbeat. But this time, I smiled. That night did not destroy me. It did not make me weak. It taught me something important. Love must be slow. Love must be honest. Love must stay. If it leaves easily, it was never strong. One evening, I sat near the window in my room. I listened to the wind. I thought about my life. I was still young. I had many days ahead of me. My first night was not the end. It was the beginning of understanding myself. I learned to ask questions. I learned to wait. I learned to protect my heart without closing it. That is balance. Months later, I met someone new. He was quiet. He was simple. He did not speak big words. He showed small actions. He came to the cafe often. He asked about my day. He listened carefully. He did not rush. He did not promise forever on the first week. And that felt safe. I did not give my heart quickly. I let time pass. I watched his actions, and slowly trust grew. Not because of words, but because of consistency. One night I stood again by the sea. The sky was clear. The moon was bright. I thought about the girl I was before. She was innocent. She was hopeful. She believed quickly. I do not judge her. She did her best. And because of her courage, I became stronger. Now, when I say my first night, I do not feel pain. I feel growth. It was a lesson. It was a step. It helped me become the woman I am today. If you are listening to my story, maybe you had a night like mine. Maybe you trusted someone. Maybe you felt hurt. But remember this, your heart is not foolish. Your heart is brave. and every experience teaches you something. Thank you for listening to my story. If you liked it, you can listen to more stories here. You can subscribe to this channel. You can write a comment about what you think. I am Julia, and this was my first night. The story did not end there. Life continued. After winter, spring came. Flowers grew near the sea. The air felt soft again. I felt ready for new things. One morning, I walked to work with a light heart. I saw the blue sky. I heard birds in the trees. I smiled without thinking. At the cafe, I saw him again. The quiet man. His name was Daniel. He was sitting at the small table near the window. He was reading a book. When he saw me, he smiled. Not a big smile, just a warm, simple smile. "Good morning, Julia," he said. "Good morning," I answered. His voice was calm. He did not rush his words. Over time, we talked more about work, about family, about small daily things. He did not promise big dreams. He did not speak about forever. He simply came back every day. One evening after my shift, he asked, "Do you want to walk by the sea?" I paused. The question felt familiar, but this time I felt calm. "Yes," I said. We walked slowly. The wind moved gently. The sky was orange and pink. He did not touch my hand quickly. He did not say "I love you" after 1 week. He listened. He respected my silence, and I noticed something important. With him, I did not feel nervous. I did not feel pressure. I felt safe. One night, I told him about my past, about Ali, about my first night. I spoke slowly. I did not hide anything. Daniel listened. He did not judge. "I am sorry you felt hurt," he said, "but I am glad you learned." His words were simple, but they were honest, and honesty felt different from sweet promises. Months passed. Trust grew, not in one night, but day by day. One evening, Daniel held my hand, just like Ollie once did, but this time, my heart felt calm. No fear, no confusion, just quiet trust. I understood something very clearly. My first night was not a mistake. It was a lesson. It showed me what I did not want, and it helped me see what I truly needed. Love is not fast words. Love is steady actions. Love is staying. Now, when I stand by the sea, I do not think about pain. I think about growth. I think about how far I came. If you are listening to me, maybe you are learning English. Maybe you are also learning about life. Take your time, with language, with love, with yourself. You do not need to rush. Every story teaches you something, and this was mine. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel. You can leave a comment. Tell me what you felt. There are many more stories waiting for you, and I hope to see you again soon. After some time, I looked back at my story again, not with pain, not with anger, but with understanding. I was young, I wanted love, I wanted someone to choose me. And when Ollie came into my life, I believed his words. I believed his smile. I believed his promises. That does not make me foolish, it makes me human. Many people have a first night like mine, a night full of hope, a night full of trust. Sometimes that night leads to something beautiful. Sometimes it leads to a lesson. For me, it was a lesson. But lessons are not bad. Lessons help us grow. If I did not live that night, I would not understand myself today. I would not know what I need. I would not know what I deserve. Now I know I deserve honesty. I deserve patience. I deserve respect. And I give the same to others. When I think about Ollie now, I do not feel hate. I hope he learned too. Maybe one day he will understand that words have power, that hearts are not toys, but that is his journey. Mine is different. My journey is about growth, about strength, about calm love. If you are listening to this story, maybe you are also learning English, and maybe you are also learning about life. Both take time. Do not be afraid of mistakes. Do not be afraid of feelings. Every experience teaches you something. Every story shapes you. My first night was not perfect, but it was real, and it helped me become stronger. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this story helped you practice English, you can listen again. Repetition helps you learn. You can subscribe to this channel for more simple and emotional stories. You can write in the comments and tell me how you felt. I am Julia, and this was my story.